Welcome to the show. This is The Force Always. My name is Diz, aka David Zammit. And this is the hairdo in the morning. And this is the coffee in the morning. Let's get on with the news, views, reviews, and interviews. Again, no news is good news. There's no real news on especially the Starfighter movie, which is coming out in 2027. And there's no real news coming out of The Mandalorian and Grogu. So far, so good. That's actually good news. No news is good news at times. Anyway, but the other piece of news is in the 50th anniversary, which is in 2027, Star Wars has, official Star Wars has said that they're going to re-release the original film 1977, A New Hope, or Star Wars, into theaters. So that is the reason why that is a piece of news is because is it going to be the original one that we saw in 1977, or will it be the most updated version of it that we know of, that George Lucas approved and said that that is the version that he would like everyone to only and see from, now on, which is many moons ago. But anyway, so that's the news at the moment, and more about the original versus the most updated version and my sort of view on that a bit later on the show. But anyway, let's now get into views. This is not the view of that. This is the views, which is about story ideas that I would like to see now fruition. But also, this is not me not accepting Star Wars as it is, because I accept Star Wars for what it is. I think Star Wars is great, and there is lots of bits and pieces in it that can make it a bit cringeworthy and not so great as well, just to let you know. But I accept it for what it is, Star Wars. Anyway, so let's get on with a story idea. Now, the story idea today is sort of a story idea. Once again, like I always give versions of a story idea. But should we really be seeing, characters or, things, episodes or movies that are in the past of from where Star Wars is right now? The most up-to-date version of Star Wars is The Rise of Skywalker, in a canon sort of movie sort of thing. And I will say, as my story idea, even though I've said that I would like to see a Darth Vader film, even though I think to go to the Yoda planet would be great, you know what? I just think the Star Wars universe really deserves and needs to keep moving forward, because Star Wars is technically a futuristic type of film with a very organic feel, and as the maker has said, it's a used future sort of feel to the film. I think moving forward is the only way with this franchise to really build excitement, and just to add on to things rather than making it so confusing for regular audience people understand where the story stands. My story idea is I would definitely be a person that says, next episode. I mean, back in 1997, 98, whenever that was, I think that's when the special editions came out. And then shortly after that, or at that time, it was announced that new Star Wars films were going to be made. This was like, oh my God, since 1983, this was exciting. This was through the roof. It was, my God, it was crazy. But then they said, we've got to go backwards, then we'll go forwards. That's what was said by Star Wars at that time, StarWars.com. In fact, again, they actually had a website, StarWars.com, at that time. They had episodes 1 to 9. And they obviously had a fill-in picture and the name title for 4, 5, and 6. And then they started filling slowly but surely 1, 2, and 3. And then before they got to the end of 3, 7, 8, 9 had disappeared. And I thought, oh my God, all this time for nothing. I thought it was lost, just the sacrifice to go backwards, to go forwards. It killed me a little bit, but at the same time, it just, it eventually eventuated, and that was great. If that's a word, I don't know. Anyway, so my story idea really today is we've got to keep the movies moving forward. As it's the morning here, so I'm a little bit, So yeah, that's what I think we should. That's my story idea. Only moving forward. Anyway, so that's the views. Let's get into reviews. Reviews this time is something unusual, and it's actually not that old, but this is something I hold really to my heart. This is the Star Wars Celebration official celebration T-shirt. I actually chose the one with the Japanese writing because I love Japanese writing, and it really works well with the Star Wars logo and even the Star Wars culture. I just loved it. I just thought it is absolutely great. The only thing I'll say that I didn't like about Star Wars Celebration's logo and theme was the purple. I just thought, what is purple? But it doesn't matter. I don't hate the color purple. I just think, anyway, it's obviously there for a reason. What reason? That would be a very good question to ask. So this is the Star Wars Celebration 2025, which is still this year. A Japan celebration. It was great celebration. They did a really good job, and it was that's the T-shirt. So this here will get a 9 out of 10 only because I'm not with the purple sort of look that much, even though purple is good. Okay, purple is good, but I just think I'm just not, I'm a like a red or blue. Or I'm a black color person. Or even black is not a color; it's a shade. I'm just simplistic, typical male maybe. I don't know, but it just this is a 9 out of 10. That's my review for this time around. Let's get into interviews. We all know what's coming now, because Michael from Werribee South. That's right, Werribee South. I know it's unknown to you. Unless you're from Melbourne, Australia, you don't know what Werribee South is. Well, I'll tell you a fun fact about Werribee South. Werribee is actually where cauliflowers and cabbages get grown. Yeah. And that's, a fun fact. Anyway, so let's go right into Michael from Werribee South's questions to me. And whilst that is happening, I can also add, you can send in your comment, you can send in your questions, like, and share this video if you like. It's up to you. Anyway, so Michael from Werribee South has asked, why did Al Pacino reject Star Wars? Well, in 1977, when someone gets handed a script like Star Wars, it freaked out a lot of people. I don't know if it would have freaked out me, but it freaked out a lot of people. He just didn't understand it. That is the reason why. He did not understand it. Didn't get it. I don't know if he's completely, he sort of regretted it. I'm unsure about that, because the type of movies he's done, obviously at that time and after that, were quite intensely creative and stuff like that. And so is Star Wars, but it's a sort of different sort of path into moviedom, if that's another word, I don't know. But anyway, he just rejected it because he just didn't get it. He was going for, apparently, the Han Solo character. Not he was going for it. That was the character that was apparently that he was going to play. Anyway, let's get on to more. What word is never used in Star Wars? Michael from Werribee South has asked, what word is never said in Star Wars? Well, there's many words that are not used in Star Wars. I mean, there's many words that are not used in Star Wars, like revere, like goat, like kangaroo. Okay? But the word that is not used is really essentially swear words, curse words, or as they say in America, cuss words. Curse words. That is, I mean, that's a variation. There's many types of words that are not used in Star Wars, but the curse word, it's meant to be a family-friendly film. That's what essentially it is for. And it's also directed towards the 13-year-old kids out there, but it's a family-friendly film. Anyway, that's to answer that particular question. Now, Michael from Wherever South has also asked, why did Star Wars fans not like The Acolyte? Well, I can't stand in for why people didn't like The Acolyte. I thought the series was fine. It was good. It was, it's a part of the storytelling. But I will say that there was a bit of slight contradiction in there. There was not a complete understanding of certain Jedi in this film that was sort of seen in the Phantom Menace. There was a little bit discrepancy there. There was a little bit of inconsistency in understanding the detail of Star Wars, which I'm surprised they didn't have a super detailed Star Wars nerd on set to let people know. But whether they did or not, I don't know if that person had done their job or not. But that inconsistency also, it was a little bit look, even for me, it was a bit underwhelming. It was not like so epic. And I think personally it was more towards the whole, it seemed like a bit more of a prequel than a story that was meant to be about 100 years before that. There was no feel of difference of period, in my humble opinion. Anyway, so I can't answer really why fans didn't like it, but I can say what I know from research and also knowledge and also my opinion. Anyway, the next question is, has Disney made their money back from Star Wars? Well, this is another question I don't know. And I think the only people that would know would be Disney. The amount of money that they use in advertising and creating merchandise and stuff like that, I would say at this stage that they have, being 10 years into the game. And they've had a number of billion-dollar hits in that Disney-owned era. The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi was a billion-dollar film. Also, The Rise of Skywalker. When they sold really it for $4 billion, you've got $3 billion there. But then there was a number of films that were under another. There was the Han Solo one that was. It made less than $1 billion. But I'd say, look, it's not just what the film costs, it's also the advertising and the merchandise. To add all that up and to see what they've made, that would be interesting. I would say yes, but I don't know. We'd have to ask Disney themselves directly. Anyway. The morning. You need a coffee. And so the next question by Michael from Wherever South is, it's been done. This is the last question. What is Star Wars' lowest rated show? Now, he said show, not movie, show. I would say show would be much less than a movie, even the worst ranking movie. But what is Star Wars' lowest rating show? I would say, it is The Acolyte, which is the very first step in the Star Wars storyline to this date. It's the oldest, so it's as far back as they have gone, The Acolyte. And yeah, that is the lowest rating show. viewership really just went downhill very rapidly from the first and second all the way down. There was a bit of revival there, but it was pretty low. Also, Boba Fett, the book of Boba Fett comes close to that as well. Probably head to head at I think maybe at this stage. But yeah, those two particular shows, the Book of Boba Fett, but especially The Acolyte. And The Acolyte didn't just get the lowest rated show. I would say that amongst the hardcore Star Wars fans is the most divisive show or movie experience to this date. Next to The Last Jedi, which is what started the divide in the first place. The disgust that the fans had about that particular movie and The Acolyte was pretty high. Without adding my personal opinion to this, that's the answer to the question. Anyway, that's the show for this time around. Until next time, my friends, keep rocking.